Guys, welcome back to Remove Before Race. It's me, Raz, and today we are transforming my pride and joy GT3 Touring into a car that we can viably use as a daily car with my 2+2 family. And I'm going to show you guys how you can do the same. It's going to be an awesome episode. I know loads of you have been waiting for it. Let's transform this into the ultimate family supercar. So guys, it would be no exaggeration to say that the GT3 is probably the world's most loved two-door, two-seat track car, and I absolutely adore mine. I use it for everything, whether it's the groceries, doing the school run, going for that early morning drive to clear the cobwebs out of your head, or heck, I'd probably even sleep in it if I could. But as a family person, invariably, these cars end up having limited usage, and in the worst case scenario, you end up having to sell them to get something more practical like an M5, an E63, an RS6, something to scratch that itch that this car just simply can't do. And often we all get forced into doing it, right? It's happened so many times with me. I'm sure it's happened a ton of times with you guys as well. And that's a real shame because you love your pride and joy and you want to enjoy it with your family, but the way it stands, you just simply can't. But what if we could create a car that could do both? Many of you would have seen my 992 GTS video and how I proved that that car in its rear-wheel drive setup can be a viable family car. So I always thought in the back of my head, if I ever got a GT3, I'm going to try and put the rear bench back in. Fast forward a year or so, and I saw Sam's video where he had successfully done it. So I asked him, how did you go about this? And he introduced me to our friend's GT3 belts, and that is who has come here today to the UK from the USA in order to help me turn this into what could be the ultimate Porsche family supercar. First of all, let's have a look at some of the mods I did prior to them coming here, and I want to show you what the parts look like now that they have arrived. So guys, the first mod that I did was to do with the seat centers. You could probably see it a little bit already, and what I've gone with is, let me do a little unveil for you. How cool is that? So it's a houndstooth pattern with a little bit of dark green in there to match the Porsche racing green. And this was again sourced by the boys at GT3 Belts. If I wanted, I could have maintained the standard GT3 pattern as well. To give you guys a bit of background, these guys can source any type of material, whether it's this standard material, whether it's the leather inside the ST, which is very unique, or it's the Dakar style, anything that Porsche does, these guys can get a hold of it. So that's mod number one. Now check out mod number two, which is on the steering wheel, and it's from Weissach, and you are going to really like this one.
Now, GT3, special car. What's not so special is these paddle shifters. Exactly the same as you would find on your standard 992. They're actually quite small. The feel of the click is, yeah, it's all right. Nothing like what you find in the Cup cars or indeed the GT3 RS. And we are going to install the 3RS magnetic Carrera Cup style shifters onto this. So I've got them here. These are an official part directly from the 3RS, and look at that. Look at the difference. Just look at the difference in size to begin with. That is so much better, right? And then you have this wonderful magnetic. That's going to be so satisfying, and I think it'll suit the whole look of the yellow dials and everything so much better. So we're going to pop these on now and then see what it looks like as a finished product. I think it's going to look so much better than this standard 992 look that we have currently.
And there we go guys, all done. Less than half an hour it took to install these. The Weissach magnetic paddles out of the GT3 RS, derived from motorsport. And again, such a simple thing to add into your GT3. And I just couldn't resist it because it makes the whole shifting experience that much more enjoyable. Now let's get on to the main event, which is of course that rear transformation. Now the first really important thing is we need to talk about some concerns that you and I might have when doing a job like this, because look, this is your pride and joy. It's an expensive car, and really we're doing something ex-factory that you clearly will have a lot of questions about. Let us first talk about 992 generation. Now, unlike 991.1, where the GT3 and the two-seat cars had a different body in white to the 2+2 cars, since 991.2, and indeed more importantly in 992, all the cars, regardless of their variant, are homologated as 2+2 vehicles, right? So this GT3 is included in that, as is, for example, the Dakar. And what is really important is that when you get into the nitty-gritty, and you'll see this in a minute when we pull the rear apart. Your seatbelt fixtures and the strength of the rear. So all of those important parts, everything is identical, and I can't stress that enough. It is exactly the same. And there's no greater proof of this than the fact that the 992.2 facelift comes standard now as a two-seater, and dealers can actually retrofit in the rear bench. Then we come to insurance, which of course depends on region, but here in the UK, it was not an issue for me to get this changed back to 2+2, simply notified my insurance company, and it's no problem, because again, they know as well that this is homologated as a 2+2 vehicle. Now that we've got that bit over with, that should give you some confidence, and indeed the fact that Sonderwunsch themselves are recommending GT3 belts for cars. Now, the cool stuff. This is some car porn here. Look at that. I will let you guess whose seats those are. Here is our goodies, and I can't stress, guys, just how nice the workmanship is here. You guys have seen my car in detail, and this is bang on identical. It is done beautifully. I mean, it is as good as OEM, and I cannot wait to see this popped in the rear. You can see we even have some lovely matching green caps here that I'm very grateful for. We're doing a few other cool things though. So that is just the rear bench. You can see the other one here from our friend, looking just as good. Here you've got the rear rest again done in the exact same way, looking absolutely awesome. So really nice job. And another option that you can choose, tell me if you've seen this before, this is the door strap pulls as you see in the 911 ST. And again, been done in the exact same spec, whatever you want to have on there. And they're going to slot nicely into here, getting rid of these. Or I hate these. They cut your fingers off, bloody things. Whereas this is going to be, you know, a lot more motorsport derived, linking nicely to ST as well. And again, I can't wait to see that on here. And Einstein said it saves weight a few grams, which should get you Porsche guys feeling very moist downstairs. Okay guys, just mere hours after starting, Einstein is finished. He's done an incredible job. It looks spectacular. I was going to do some exposition and kind of tease and then reveal, but you just need to see this right now. Let me show you the finished product. Just when I thought I could not love the GT3 Touring anymore, this happened. Just look at this. Guys, is that just not incredible? Look how good it looks. It looks a little different to standard 992. There's a good reason for that. I've seen some silly influencers commenting about how the rear bench is no good, how it hasn't got a proper rear bench in this setup that we've done. Well, there's a very good reason for that if you actually knew what you were talking about, and I will go into that in a minute. But this looks brilliant. You look at the houndstooth, the actual Porsche leather that was sourced directly from supplier, the Mamba stitching, everything is perfect. The seat belts where they should be, and this is the top level version that you can get. There are two others, so I'm going to fill you in on those. I'll fill you in on this one as well. But yeah, just look how well it matches our lightweight bucket seats on the front. Everything exactly the same. Let me show you the process, how it was done, and let's talk about the other options. Before I show this to the kids, I want to get their reaction and go for a drive with my boys. Okay guys, first time in the car since the install, and it just looks incredible. Look how it looked before versus what we have now. It's so good. And like I said, I will explain the reason that it looks the way it does in terms of the backrest, the benefits of this especially, really interesting. Now, I'm going to tell you about 3 versions, okay? And you can do these as long as you have 991.2 or any 992 car. It can be standard, Dakar, GT3, and even GT3 RS. Imagine this in a GT3 RS. As long as you don't have a roll cage, it is possible, okay? So let's start with the first one that's the most under the radar, and that is the Stealth. And I thought in order to show you that, let's do that in our typical RBR fashion. Let's get rid of this seat, and there you have the base setup, right? Stealth gives you still the backrests, and you get the seat belts and everything else that's required in terms of installation. The pricing for this, I believe it starts around about $4,000, and then the installation depends where you are, and essentially you're good to go. Like we said, it's already homologated for 2+2. You just need to get your insurance done, etc., depending on your region. But the cool thing about the Stealth is you can pull off the backrests if you don't want to have them. Of course, that saves a bit of weight as well. And if you need an MOT cover, they can make the MOT covers for you in order for it to pass in your territory, which is quite cool as well. But that is your most simple one. And I think it's quite a nice one because you maintain the most space out of all of the options. If space is really a thing for you to get larger people in the back, that's probably going to be your best option. Then we have what I've done today. And actually the process, it's a little bit scary when you see them doing it because it gets stripped back to this and you kind of look at it and you're like, damn, you know. But then when it goes on and it's finished, it looks amazing. That seat back there is what they call the GTS seat. And it's, you know, as close to OEM as you can get, really. It looks fantastic. It's got all the curves that you expect. The nice thing is, because of the way that our rear bench is, you still maintain a hell of a lot of space. If we put the normal 992 bench in this, it's slightly narrow forward, so you have less space, it's thicker, and you don't really get that comfort. If I sit in the back of here, like I will in a minute, you will see that I have a lot of space despite being, you know, fully grown adult for the most part. Now, as promised, I wanted to prove to you guys that I can squeeze in as well. Let's get in here. Bit of a squeeze through that gap, but I've got loads of leg room. And what's nice is this is actually a really nice cushiony seat as well. So, yeah, I'm pretty comfy in here. This is not bad. This is a game changer. This is more comfortable than a standard 992 with a rear bench and more spacious. Like, you've got your cake and you're eating it. And of course, as cool as that is back there, then you see the ST door handle pulls, which are, look, it is perfect, perfectly matched. You see the lovely stitching on the inside, the cross stitching, and the opening is so satisfying versus the silly 992 door handle. Look, it's so easy. It's so much easier. I hate the way that thing eats your fingers. This is simple. It's just a little tug and it looks beautiful. It links to the ST, matches the whole interior. Like, you've got to get this done. And finally, weight added, it's literally a few pounds. If you want to shed those extra pounds, you can very easily remove these because they just apply with Velcro, as you can see, and then you will lose the extra pounds that allow you to be in line with the car as it is in stock. Not that it makes a big difference, but it's nice that you have that flexibility. So you want to have a bit more luggage space, you can do that, which is actually really nice. And because we haven't got a full thick rear bench with all the cushioning and the sound deadening, we still get that typical transmission GT3 sound coming through there, which is such an important thing for GT3 customers. We don't want the sound to disappear just because we've added a rear bench. So that, again, it's a brilliant thing and I'm really pleased about that. Now, like I said, I'm working on a RBR seat. It's going to be black on black, so neutral in terms of what car it can fit in, but then it will be this GTS seat. So all the nice curvature, all of this look as you see it now, and hopefully at a lower price. I think that's going to be a really good option for you guys. Get in touch with this email address below, and I'll make sure that Einstein gets you a really good discount at GT3 belts. And again, it's worldwide. It's a white glove service. They will travel anywhere in the world. They book up in regions in advance, and then they will travel out and get it done by hand. So it's the same person doing it every time. They've got it down to a fine art skill. As you can see from my side, I think it's the best money that I've ever spent on one of my cars. And I think the proof of that is going to be when you see the reaction of my two boys. Let's bring them in. So boys, remember I said to you that soon we're going to have some seats in the back of our favourite car for you to sit in? Go and have a look.
Whoa, we finally got seats, didn't we?
So cool.
So for the young man, I've got this cool booster seat, which comes in a green very similar to Mamba, which is cool. So I've got the young man going to climb in here. How's that, you comfy?
Yeah.
Nice. Now, just to prove that the 14-year-old can get in as well, Rockin, can you squeeze into the back and sit next to your brother?
You have to squeeze in.
See, that wasn't too difficult, was it?
Yeah. But yeah, it's cool. It's very comfortable.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. All right, boys, first have a drive together. How cool is this? You having fun? Man, this is what it's all about. Before, this car would just be me by myself, or maximum one of these two with me, or the wife. Now the four of us, in reality, can enjoy this car together. There's more than enough space back there for her, or for the two of these in the back, as you saw. And to enjoy 9,000 RPM with the whole family, that's just cool. We've got space in the front for the pram, just about enough luggage space for small trips. Isn't this amazing?
Yeah, it's good. Now we can finally sit together as a family.
Really, this is worth absolutely every penny. I've never experienced this before. It's almost bringing a tear to my eye. But this extends the longevity of me keeping this car, or you guys keeping a car like this. And to me, it's just an absolute no-brainer, completely reversible. So guys, this is the first trip of many with these guys with me in a GT3. I hope it's been useful to you guys. I hope a lot of you take up this option of doing it, because I think it's going to just increase your enjoyment of a car like this, particularly if you're a family person, so much. A huge thanks to the team at GT3 Belts for doing such a great job. And if you enjoyed this episode of RBR, if it's been useful, please do like and subscribe. As for us, we're going to go have some fun. See you later.